We're all doing well. You might be wondering, where's Danny? Don't know. I assume he'll be along shortly. But yeah, don't know. Haven't heard from him. So, yeah. Last I heard, he was going to have a meeting, and then that's why we scheduled the show late. But haven't heard from him since. So, as far as I knew, he was coming on our at our scheduled time. But as the old saying goes, the show must go on. So regardless, we will continue, and I'll just go through the chat real quick, and then maybe talk about some Discovery until he gets here. I'm assuming now we talked about it yesterday, Danny and I, and he's supposed to have watched the first two episodes of season 5. And I'm assuming he did, but I'm also assuming that because he hates Discovery with the passion of 1,000 suns, that probably the less time we have to spend talking about it, the better for him. So we could probably get through some of it before he gets here, and he'll be okay with that. But anyway, 47 Yorktown, first in the house as Discovery if they only had good writers. We'll get into that. Yeah, Stan Lee says, no kidding, looks like they're spending enough money on it. All right, let me say this. The problem, and I know some of you are going to take this the wrong way, but please don't. The problem isn't that they have bad writers. The problem is that they have writers that are not suited to this genre. And so the writers that, and we saw this in previous seasons, many of the writers for Discovery in particular have been people who basically all of their credits are doing things like comedies, sitcoms, and stuff like that in the past. And Discovery's not a sitcom. And I don't know if it's just, I haven't looked at all the writers this year, but in prior seasons, there have been whole seasons where not a single sci-fi writer was present. And that is a very specific genre of writing. So I don't want to say that these people can't write. I'm just saying that I think it might be not the best fit for them to be writing sci-fi. Which is probably why Discovery many times doesn't feel like sci-fi. You know. Stan says, seems like they're trying to make it funnier. It seemed like a lot of extra ADR jokes every time an action thing happened. They definitely did seem to try to amp up the humor a little bit. Some of it actually worked for me. Not a lot of it, but some of it did. I am not going to say that this first episode was the worst thing they've ever put out. It wasn't spectacularly great or anything, but it has things that you can appreciate about it. But there's also some stuff that I don't really appreciate about it. Let's see. None of it made me laugh. Well, not with it anyway. I did laugh at it a few times. So you can ride the back of a ship at warp speed. This is not the first time we've seen that. So we actually saw people do that in Prodigy. They actually basically transferred from one ship to another at warp. They also did it in Enterprise. Where you may remember shortly after Trip Tucker transferred to the Columbia, Enterprise's warp engines were sabotaged speed style, so they couldn't slow down or they would explode. And so the Columbia matched up with their ship, and he actually transferred from ship to ship while at warp. So Burnham being on the back of that ship at warp, not a canonical issue. And there he is. Hey, Danny.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Awesome. I got everything working.
Your microphone is actually working today.
Yes.
So haven't done anything really. Just.
No, I was listening on my phone while I was rebooting, and
I figured you were having some kind of technical problem.
and I'm gonna have to talk to you. I can't. Fridays just aren't gonna work for me anymore. So we're gonna have to talk about that later.
Well, yeah. Well, production meeting is production meeting.
But
We can always just switch back to Wednesday and Thursday.
I would I would love that if we can.
I'm fine with that.
Okay, that would be
I mean,
ideal.
the one thing that kind of sucks is our biggest crowd is on Friday, but maybe I'll do a solo stream on Fridays or something.
Yeah, I can't keep. Friday's too busy a day.
Right.
And it'll get even worse when I start the job, because I actually did talk to my boss. Sorry, guys, you get to see how the sausage is made.
We'll talk about that after.
Okay.
Don't worry about it now.
Okay.
Let me finish what I was talking about here. So if they were trying to stop the ship, why did they care if it fell out of warp? I think what they were worried about was that if the warp field collapsed while the two ships were both right there and the tractor beam was engaged, it would basically rip the ship apart.
You're talking about the opening scene, and
It wasn't that they were worried about the ship dropping out of warp. She was worried about the other ship getting torn apart.
Yeah.
So
what did you think of the fact the captain of that other ship is our man from Battlestar? One of the Cylons.
Okay, I'm willing to put up $50 that he is working with the bad guys.
Can we get rid of this Stan Lee over my face thing so I can?
Well,
see
but you look better with it over your face.
Ha ha ha. So, so you think he's typecast? I actually don't think he's a bad guy. I think the way they ended episode 2 with the whole, I got a second chance. I'm giving you one.
I'm telling you, $50 right now.
All right, I'll take that.
By the end of this season, we find out that he's working with them.
We got witnesses.
Yeah. And that's a very specific thing. I mean, now, he could reform himself. He could redeem himself. But right now, he's on their side.
Interesting.
So I'm not saying that he's an irredeemable character. I'm saying that he's working with them. Yes, just like in Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, fair enough.
And by the way, I think he did a good job. As the new guy on the cast, that's always an awkward place to be, but I think he held himself well.
Why don't they just make him human or Vulcan? What the hell is he supposed to be with those weird ears?
I saw someone talk about it. They're a race that was introduced on Deep Space Nine, but I don't remember what they're called. So that's an existing race from Trek canon. But
existing or not, that's some lazy alien design.
Yeah.
All they did was change his ears.
And yes, Stan, if you freeze frame the coming this season on the show, you do see what looks like the classic TOS Enterprise. But I've also heard rumors that could be the Defiant, as in they get the Defiant back from the Mirror Universe.
It probably is the Defiant, quite frankly. They're going to want to have a tie-in to the Section 31 movie or something,
All right. Let's see. Look like Tilly might have given up her jogging routine. You know what? Look, I am the first person to make fun of the fact that she is unrealistically heavy to be an officer in the military. But that being said, I don't think she's any bigger than she was last season.
Oh yeah, she is.
I don't know.
It was jarring. Well, okay, I didn't watch last season, so last time I saw her, she's considerably larger, but I wasn't going to bring it up.
Right.
Since you brought it up.
And quite frankly, I know that's low-hanging fruit to attack her for being fat, but you know what? Scotty got fat.
Yeah,
and Kirk got fat.
Yeah, it just happens.
People get fat. And I don't care what the reason is. I don't care what's going on in her personal life. I do think that quite frankly, it's a creative decision. And thank you, Frank, for subscribing. I think it's a creative decision whether or not you want to allow people that young to be unhealthy with their body fat ratio as a serving member in the military because you don't give a crap about. And Mahmoud Murd, thank you.
Yeah, I did tweet it and put it in Discord. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I didn't. I was...
I have the cooler thumbnail, even though I emailed it to you, by the way.
I had to schedule the show before you had a thumbnail. So
I know it's all good. I'm sorry.
let's not be taking cheap shots where they
It's my yeah.
Anyway. But anyway, so I don't think making fun of her weight is productive. Just like, and I'll say this straight up, you're not going to hear me bitch about the show having too many women or having too much diversity or any of that woke crap. Because quite frankly, the minute you criticize this show for being woke, you've lost the argument.
I'm going to surprise you. Should I give you my hot take?
Sure. Well, I'm going to guess you liked it.
I didn't hate it.
Right. I didn't hate it either.
I didn't hate it. And the only thing that stuck out in my mind, and I watched them back to back, so I don't remember if it was in episode 1 or 2, but the whole like Tilly acting like a lovesick schoolgirl, that scene I could have done without.
But Tilly's been like that since season 2. So
yeah. So, and I haven't liked any of it. So I'm being consistent. That, for that to be my only complaint, not bad.
Yeah, Tilly is my least favorite character on the show, which is I
was really looking forward to not having her. I didn't think she was. I thought she was going to the Starfleet Academy thing or whatever.
Yeah, so. I guess not. And I'm sorry, guys. Not reading the rest of the chat because Danny's here now. So Danny, tell me if there's something really good in the chat that I need to comment about. But look, I don't. You guys going on about her being fat? Stop, please. It's not worth it. Because here's what happens.
Stan Burnham did call her out for having. She could tell she had been drinking. So I don't know if she was drunk, but she was tipsy for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, and they did say she was working at the Academy.
Hey, and you got a super chat.
And Thomas, thank you so much. He is Kelleron from Armageddon game where Bashir. Oh, that's the rules. He's a Kelleron from the Armageddon game where Bashir and O'Brien destroy chemical weapons.
Okay, cool.
So there you go. Cool. That's where you see that species. Thank you, Tom. If anybody would know, it would have Thomas's. Thomas, you should be our new research department now that we don't have the evil Canadian research department.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think Tilly was the weak link in the chain for this episode, for sure.
Yeah.
The mystery box that they set up for the season. Look, some people were bitching.
What do you think about the
progenitors being back?
Yeah, what do you think? Yeah. They even gave us a little clip of Jean-Luc.
Well, you know what? I didn't have a problem with that. I know some people were like, "Oh, now they're crapping on Picard's grave," and it's like, first of all, Picard the series did that plenty.
Yeah, right,
and honestly, just mentioning that it was Picard that originally tracked down the progenitors, that's just historical fact.
Yeah, I dug it. I can't believe I'm saying this. Like, I don't have a lot of bad things to say.
It's just like, even though it's funny, I'm actually going to say an episode of TNG was worse than an episode of Discovery. It was a far worse episode, but it's similar to what they did in The Naked Now when they noted that James T. Kirk was captain of the Enterprise with the original virus.
Chat.
And Tilly did not hug Burnham. I was shocked. Yeah, honestly, I wonder if that was on purpose that they toned down the Gilmore Girls content. Because it does seem like they tried to make them feel a little less girl porn, everybody hug and cry and talk about ice cream or whatever. So it did seem like they toned that down. We'll see if that holds for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and I'll agree, Stan. We got to see a self-sealing stem bolt there. That was kind of fun.
Yeah.
I immediately thought about Deep Space Nine with that. A couple of good deep cuts. I thought it was interesting that we saw that the Soonian-style android would continue on beyond Data.
Well, that was interesting because it's so far in the future, and the synths we saw in Picard did not look like Data. So that was interesting.
Well, but they also talked about what an antiquated model he was.
Yeah, but Burnham acted like he was a living creature with a family and stuff, so that was interesting as well. Remember when?
Yeah, well, theoretically, Data could still be out there.
Well, yeah.
Like Brent Spiner is one of the few cast members that could realistically just show up and say, "Hey guys, how's it going?"
Oh God, please digitally de-age him if they're going to do that, though.
Remember, Data is now looks like, we have canonical.
Oh, that's right.
Data.
Yeah.
Data's merged with lore and all that.
He's old now. Yeah, because of Picard season 3. Hey, Cerstus, you liked Fred. Yeah, I don't know. Fred wasn't really good at deception, and he got his ass whooped. So there's that.
But yeah, so now the first episode is all set up, right? And I did. Now, did you see my little 1-minute video I did?
I did not.
Oh, well, you're in for a treat then. I'm going to have to.
Oh, please, yeah, share. By all means. No, I've been busy. In good news, I got all of my bills paid this month already, and it's only the 5th.
Well, there's the first time for everything.
I kicked ass. No, remember I told you I was hustling for work?
Yeah.
I kicked ass. I got a new website I'm about to launch. Can't wait to show it to you.
Did you finally get our website done?
No, I got a client who paid me $3,000 to build them a website. But, that's how that works. Ours is, it's in development. Just, All
right. So the name of this video is Star Trek Discovery Season 5, Episode 1, summed up in 1 minute. You ready?
Yep. That's exactly what I was thinking about.
It's weird.
So there you go.
Yeah, it's funny. I was thinking when I was watching that episode, I was like, man, that reminds me of. Oh yeah, speeder. Yeah, okay, yeah, the speeder.
Yeah, the and that speeder. Like, look, the speeder chase.
Ooh, value of nothing. We said not to do that. So that's your one warning, buddy.
Yeah.
Put you in time
no
out.
more fat jokes, please, guys. Yeah. We get it. She's overweight. But you know what? I'm fat.
And technically, I'm overweight. I need to lose 25 pounds.
And I'm sure half of you guys in the chat are probably stand to lose a few pounds. Now, I've
lost 5 of that 15 I gained in rehab.
Right.
So.
And the thing is, I went off about the fact that she gained weight between season 1 and season 2, but that's it. I'm done with I'm going to say that was inappropriate, that the actress should have hired a personal trainer or whatever, but that's it. I'm not going to rail on that every episode.
Yeah.
Because it's pointless.
Yes.
That's like, that would be like me rating the show as good or bad just because I like Michael Burnham's hairstyle. It doesn't matter. Now, I didn't like Tilly's character in this episode, and we can talk about that, but yeah, fat, not interested in that conversation.
Ooh, did that show up?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that was an accident, but hey, if you or someone you care about are struggling with alcoholism or any other type of substance abuse, there is help. Call the National Helpline at that number. Totally an accident, though. How do I remove that? There we go. Never mind.
Yeah.
Sorry
did I rate Strange New Worlds off of Pike's hair? No, but Strange New Worlds got a permanent +1 bonus because that hair is just so awesome.
Oh yeah.
And there are limits. You gotta say, the Pike hair. There's no way you can't give props to that kind of hair. That hair was, freaking insane.
So, do we know the story behind why they just randomly dropped these 2 episodes? Because
I don't know. I was caught by surprise.
so was I.
Yeah.
I heard from you. Yeah.
And so yeah, I have no idea. I'm assuming they dropped it because it's First Contact Day.
Yeah, but they dropped it a few days ago. It would have made sense if they dropped it.
They dropped it. Yeah, they dropped it on the 3rd. But I don't know if that was the plan all along, and we just kind of biffed it. I thought the show wasn't coming for a couple of months. But
I thought it was like middle of April or something. But
yeah. But that's all right. I mean, not only was I surprised that the show dropped, I was also pleasantly surprised with at least the first episode. Second episode wasn't bad. I guess her face is a little bigger, but it's honestly not that much bigger than it was last season.
Again, I didn't see see the 4th season at all. So
yeah. So yeah, here's Burnham on the back of that ship. Now, I would say this. So we already talked about, I think it was Stan Lee was complaining that, how could she survive that? But people have been surviving outside in warp bubbles all the way back to Enterprise. But what I'm curious about is, so these suits apparently can materialize whatever equipment they need, right? They just keep them in.
They're kind of, I guess they're like the Iron Man nanotech suits now.
Well, I would think more like it looks more like transporter tech. Like it keeps the stuff in like a buffer and then it materializes whatever you need. So why using a hand phaser? Why not go with a phaser rifle? We saw them do that later in this same episode where they replaced their hand phasers with phaser rifles. You remember that? And in fact, chronologically, it was just before this. Because we see her do it when she was having the standoff with the 2 bad guys, and then they get away. But but why not do the rifle thing and then just shoot the warp nacelle? That's what I don't understand. What is she trying to do here? And Stan, you keep saying the boarding party looked like little kids playing with water guns. I mean, yeah, I don't particularly care for the phaser design, but is it programmable matter? Okay, that's fine.
That's what I was about to put that comment up. Yeah.
That would actually make sense.
Yeah.
And look, that's following. This is 32nd century tech. I don't have a problem with it. I would have a problem if we were in the 23rd or 24th century doing this kind of stuff. But 34th century or 32nd century tech, I have no problem. Because, this is the most advanced tech in Star Trek.
Down. Sorry, talking to the cat.
Yeah. So then we get the flashback to, and those drinks are actually kind of cool. But to the party.
You just put dry ice cubes in the thing, and that's what happens. So.
Yeah, but the bubble is cool.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I don't go to bars and stuff. I don't see crap like this. So
they used to do that gimmick at High Scores before they shut down because of the pandemic.
I don't know what High Scores is.
It was a barcade.
Okay.
Arcade bar. Used to be a client.
Do you really need to unpack right now?
I'm multitasking. Sorry, a client just hit me up, so I'm pulling something up for them on my laptop. Just carry on. I'm here. I'm listening. I'm paying attention.
All right. So they're all hanging out at this party, celebrating that the Federation is kind of back in business. When Burnham gets pulled aside. And taken to what they called. We also find out that in the couple of months in between seasons, that Saru and the
they kind of they in the previously on they kind of teased so something must.
No, they definitely had a relationship starting last season.
Okay.
But it was not like when she said, now, we love each other deeply. They never said anything that blatant about it. Like in the season finale of last season, Saru was just like, "Hey, maybe we could go out sometime," and she was like, "I'd like that." And so now it's like, yeah, they're like, obviously getting ready to get married now. So that's quite a big jump in their relationship. Well, anyway,
Yeah.
so yeah, then they go to this infinity room, where Vance, Burnham, and I can never remember Doctor whatever's name, and Saoirse says, "Don't think it's been 7 years yet. Don't know what you mean." Oh, did Saru and the Vulcan bang? Well, remember, first of all, Vulcans. She's not necessarily purebred Vulcan because the Vulcans and the Romulans have merged on their current planet. So, you know, yeah,
Look,
David
this,
Cronenberg is the actor, Stan, but I can't remember the doctor's name that he.
so this this shit confused me. This weird Matrix room that they used a
Yeah.
lot or whatever. Can you
This is the
dumb
first
this
time
down
we've
for me?
Well, this is the
Okay,
first
it
time
is.
we've seen it. Yeah.
Oh, so this isn't from last season then.
No.
Okay.
But yeah, obviously, with that little infinity badge that she had, it teleports you to this room, which is a very secure place. Nobody can spy on them.
It's basically that room from the Matrix because they just change it into whatever they
Yeah, I
want.
think you're right, sir. It's just something like Kovich. But yeah, so, and he says that this is a red directive. And, yeah. Now,
Super secret double probation classified.
you see, here's my problem.
Right.
I don't mind them like, oh, this is, them going, this is serious, we got to deal with this. And honestly, the payoff, I think later, with it being the progenitors, I think that makes sense. But calling it a red directive or whatever, I thought was kind of silly. Why not just say this is priority one?
I don't know, but that is the name of the episode.
Red directive.
Yes.
Yes, I know. But here's the other thing. They never explain what a red directive is.
Yeah, Kovich is the guy's name,
Yeah.
David Cronenberg's character.
Yeah, red alarm.
Yeah. So I'm trying to be like Jason Sorta. I got the IMDb up and on the ready. So,
I gotcha. Yeah. So I don't mind the idea that it's some kind of real, super high up orders from top brass, but red direct. And then later we find out from Rayner that like he's like, oh, this is my 7th red directive, and it's like, so they're not even that rare.
Well, I don't know. The Gigolo from Deuce Bigalow, he made it sound like that dude has been like he said they've been friends for 30 years. He's been in captain. I mean, like, let's just say he's only been a captain 20
You're
years.
talking about Admiral Vance.
Yeah, Admiral Vance. He's the Gigolo from Deuce Bigalow. Women pay me to bring them pleasure.
I don't. You know what? I saw part of Deuce Bigalow and thought it was the dumbest thing, so I didn't.
It is,
it.
but he was the sexy gigolo that Deuce Bigalow took over for, or got the idea from, or whatever.
Okay, well, how about you call him Admiral Vance from now on? I don't want to think about Deuce Bigalow.
I think it's funnier to call him the Gigolo from Deuce Bigalow, but that's fine. He was also from Resident Evil, but that's cool. I like.
I do remember him from Resident Evil. Yes.
Yeah. Joe, what is up, buddy? Are you ready for WrestleMania? Yeah. Instead of recording my predictions video, I'm on this, stream talking Discovery, but it didn't suck. So
yeah. So shut up.
I will. I'm just saying hi to my brother Joe.
Yeah.
Welcome, Joe.
And I do think because another problem here is that Burnham's.
Ooh, Joe. While you're here, sorry.
This is more wrestling stuff, is it?
I'm super proud of this, Joe. Check it out, buddy. Check that out.
All right, I'll let you have that. Though.
Thank you. It's my 1 month chipper, buddy. Yeah, just got that 2 days ago. Anyway, continue. Sorry.
So when they say, like Burnham,
Thomas.
I know times we can't get through one stream without him going into wrestling in some way. It's really annoying.
I
But
apologize.
but Burnham starts to push back like any captain would, in that, look, I can't just take my crew on a mission without knowing what's going on. And then they said this is a red directive, and she immediately shuts up. Right? So based on that, Burnham knows how serious a red directive is. But this is where, I mean,
May I
bad.
ask a question? May I ask
Yeah.
a question? How long has she been in like a captain in the future?
She became
Like,
captain last season.
so has it been long enough for it to make sense for her to know this kind of stuff then?
Well, you could argue that she, because we don't know exactly how much time has transpired between seasons. Obviously some time has transpired because Saru and the Vulcan Romulan ambassador chick have really expanded upon their relationship since last season.
Yeah.
So things
Thanks, Joe.
and they went from telling Tilly that they would have a position open at the academy to, it sounds like Tilly's working there now. So
Some time has passed. Okay.
yeah. So definitely some time has passed. But this is where, like, good exposition would be for Burnham to say, wait, what's a red directive?
Yeah, or like a captain's log, like they do that in Star Trek. That's how we get exposition.
Yeah, I wanted to, captain's log, stardate, blah, blah, blah. I wanted to know what was going on, but when he said red directive, I knew that meant, it's at a classified level that,
Whoa, Joe, don't get carried away. I just said these 2 episodes don't suck. I'm cautiously optimistic, but Star Trek's burned me before. Yeah. So, yeah.
So then we get, what's the name of those guys? They did the music for Tron. The EDM guys.
Oh, Daft Punk?
Yeah, Daft Punk. So Daft Punk breaks into a Romulan ship. All he did is that would have been awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Daft Punk breaks in, and then we get this weird CG effect on this guy's face when he takes the helmet off.
It was weird. I don't want to admit that I know what that looks like, but that looks like something disturbing. So.
Breathable atmosphere in my ass.
But you see, the problem is like, look at the texture of his skin.
It's so weird. It's gelatinous. It's like
Right, but then a few seconds later,
it's that.
yeah. And so
He kind of reminds me of dude from Beyond, I think it was.
oh yeah.
You know who I'm talking about. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not
but
that same species, but that's what it was.
no. Well, and in fact, they don't even know what he is. So, so that's
Joe, same. That's why I'm asking all these questions. I didn't watch the 4th season at all, so he's making me watch this. But fortunately, this so far. doesn't
4th
suck.
season was their best season up to now.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
but I will say that doesn't make it great. It just means that it was better. All right, then we get the credits. Yeah, right here. See, she switched it to the phaser rifle.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if I can catch that. Yeah, so see, it looks like she's got the. Yeah, so it does stretch out. That is interesting.
Clear.
So what? Yeah, why didn't she do that when she was on the ship?
I don't know.
Just saying.
And yes, Joe, the bar has definitely been lowered.
Oh, and Ben One Eye, you will get no argument from me. Those credits I despise. I've despised them from day one. Even before I had an opinion about the show, I did not like those opening credits.
There were a couple musical cues that reminded me of the original series. And
Well, that's because, but the problem is they keep going da da da.
No. I mean, in the episode, like there were like old school
Really?
from the you didn't notice that?
I heard music. No, the musical cues to me sounded like they were trying to sound like Star Wars. That was
No,
one
there were a couple that were straight lifts from the original series. I'll have to try to find it and show it to you because
yeah, I'm not sure what you're talking about.
that did stick out in my
But
head. I was
like,
oh,
yeah, but like if you listen to the music playing during the speeder bike chase, it sounds like Star
that
Wars.
whole scene was like a Star Wars ripoff. Yeah,
Right. And anyway, so they fail to catch Daft Punk, unfortunately, and that's where we're introduced to this other starship that's trying to help. Things go awry, and the bad guys get away. So they bring in Booker because he's good at tracking warp signatures.
Yeah, so you got to bring me up to speed on because I didn't even like what I
Booker
missed.
was a traitor last season.
He was.
Yeah, that's why he was in trouble.
So they've forgiven him, or
Well, they brought him in because he was the only guy that could do it.
okay. So having not what I extrapolated, maybe I was way wrong from watching this, not seeing season 4. It just kind of seemed like they broke up, and she needed his help again, and then like
It was he betrayed the Federation. It wasn't.
So what did that conversation they had on the speeders mean when she was like, he's like, are we saying this out loud? And she's like, yeah, I think we are. Like,
well, because I think they obviously still have feelings for each other, but what he did was kind of unforgivable.
Well, last time I saw, they were like kind of flirting around with the idea. Did they ever actually become a couple?
Yeah, but then he did some bad things in season 4.
Okay.
Now, granted, his motivation for doing bad things in season 4 was understandable, but at the same time, he did some things that were straight up criminal.
My man Planet X invoking the 5-time.
All right,
no,
Danny,
Danny.
Danny.
Sorry. Okay. Sorry.
I don't want any more wrestling references out of you.
Hey, I'm just participating with the chat. Tell them. That was a response.
I don't care.
Hey, Bert says Book did nothing wrong, so you're going to have to explain. And he says it in all
Of course,
caps. So he's
yeah.
yelling.
You're talking about Bird.
Well, okay. You know what? I should have watched. No, I don't want to watch season 4. Just tell me what happened. What the hell did he
told
do?
you.
You just said he did something bad.
Yeah, it's a season-long arc. It would take the entire show to try to explain.
Okay. All right. Never mind then. All right.
Yeah.
Fine. Okay. I'll take Bird's word for it then.
Oh, yeah. You'll take Bird's word for it.
I'm just giving you a hard time.
So I do think like I said, I think he does a good job here. As Captain Remy, is it? I think so. Remy, something like that.
He is Captain Rayner.
Rayner. Yes.
Rayner.
Thank you. I like him.
It's funny that you said Rennie because his last name in real life, the actor's last name is Rennie.
I keep getting his name and his character's name confused. Sorry.
I know, Joe, you wouldn't believe it. I actually got him to talk a little bit about The Rock yesterday. That's the last thing I'll say. I'm just replying.
Stop!
Okay, Bird is giving me a good answer here. He says that Book tried to destroy aliens who destroyed his entire planet and would have kept destroying more planets. Well, if he only tried and he didn't succeed, what's so bad about that? Sounds like he failed.
It would be the equivalent of, let's say, some people... Man, drag me into this. Thanks, Bird. So imagine that your hometown, there's a massacre and everybody in your town is killed, right?
Yeah.
So your solution is to drop an atomic bomb on them.
I mean, you ever
even
heard of
though
Hiroshima?
Dude, you can't just drop atomic bombs on people.
Hiroshima?
What about Hiroshima?
Didn't we do exactly what you're saying we were not supposed to do to Hiroshima?
You're not following me. He used weapons of mass destruction that he had no right to use, and in fact was ordered directly by Starfleet not to.
But Bird insinuated that he failed. Did he fail?
He did fail.
Oh, bummer.
Well, no, it's a good thing because the people he was trying to kill weren't even evil.
And yes, Planet X, we covered that already. That's
Yes,
what
he
you
is
get for being late.
He is Leoben from Battlestar Galactica.
Yes. Which I can't wait to get back into watching those one of these days.
But and this is the problem. This is why it's like it's way more complicated than just Bird's little statement.
Okay. All right. Well, we can move on because hell, we still got to do part 2. I thought we were going to finish. I thought we were going to do part 2 of Picard first, or of First Contact.
Well,
first.
I started doing this because you weren't here.
Please tell me you remember where we left off.
Yeah, we were just after Cromwell took a piss.
Okay. Okay. Good. All right. Perfect. All right. Back to this then. All right.
Which aptly describes that movie. Anyway. It seems like I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but it seems like Saru's makeup is a little better this season too.
He finally used his little spiky things. I was like,
that should always be his first move. In
it
combat.
Should, right? It's like come on.
So Burnham and Saru are pining over the fact that they're not going to be working together anymore. Tilly is crushing on this dude for whatever reason, and every time Tilly's on screen, again has nothing to do with her weight.
This whole thing is cringe. Like he walks out and she does the whole it's like schoolgirl thing. Come on, guys, we don't need this.
Yeah. I really, I did not care about the Tilly subplot at all. And so then we go to where they meet on the planet. To try and track these guys down.
All of this feels very Star Wars to me. They're on Tatooine. You know what I mean?
Everything on this planet was.
Or actually, what's the one from with Jakku? Is it Jakku?
Jakku is where we're raised from. Yeah.
Yeah, this is more like Jakku. Yeah. Anyway,
it's Jakkuine.
Yeah, Jakkuine.
So and then that's where we meet Fred.
Look at it. Could have been a descendant of Dave. This guy looks kind of like a young Brent Spiner in a way, almost.
Well, I think they mentioned that he's a Sunian style android.
Synth. So. They call him a synth,
right?
Yeah.
But the synth thing started in Picard, which I did not like.
I didn't like either. It's this Soong model android or whatever.
Yeah. But obviously. A similar design as Data, except, skinnier. And so he uses his superior android abilities to look at solve the puzzle.
Trek reviewer, I 100% agree with you. Salty's smoking crack when it comes to this movie, when we get to it, part 2 of it, anyway. But I agree with you, bro.
Yeah. And it's funny value of nothing because, yes, in some ways it's even similar to Rise of Skywalker in that they find a puzzle to unlock a book to tell you where to go to get the piece.
I want to see who wrote this episode now. Come on. This is ridiculous.
Well, you're right. You got the IMDb thing.
I do. No, I'm looking. Writers. See, no, they don't really tell you. It's just, they literally have Gene Roddenberry listed as one of the writers.
Well, because created by is technically a writing credit.
Michelle Paradise is the sole writer of this episode, and she was the
showrunner.
She's best known for something called X's and O's, the originals, and the 10 Rules. Never heard of them.
Yeah, I don't think any of those are sci-fi.
No, they're not. Yeah, no. So anyway, yeah.
But the. So he scans it all over and he offers them a lowball amount. They're not happy and they shoot him up because, they realize he's nervous. And so then they download his brain to get some information, which will be interesting later. Meanwhile, Tilly, what is Tilly's skill set exactly?
Hey, Joe, thanks for stopping by, man. Appreciate you. Hope you remember to give me a like before you go. I'll see you tomorrow.
I mean, seriously, what is Tilly's skill set? Because she's just becoming Burnham 2.0 here. Because she can hack a 32nd century computer system? Since when is Tilly the big computer? You know, see that's just frustrating. And then we get into the speeder bike chase.
I'm not even going to highlight it, Alex. We have requested that we not go down that route. So
Yeah, we're not talking about Tilly's weight, okay?
I was trying not to say that, but
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
It doesn't matter. That's just
Like he said earlier, even Scotty got fat. We didn't bitch and complain about that. It's
Right.
not her weight that bothers me. It's her annoying
it's her
character.
character.
Yeah.
And so that's
Jinx.
the thing. Yeah. But no, that's the thing. If you critique it based on her physical appearance, then you're basically becoming exactly what those that want to oppose you think you already are.
Yeah.
And that is that you're reacting just superficially on what you see, not on what the deeper content is. If everybody in the show was a morbidly obese woman, then I'm still going to review the show based on the content of the show. Granted, I'll say it's kind of weird that this universe is only made up of morbidly obese women, but you get what I'm saying.
Well, who else
And-
is obese? All the other women seem to be in good shape.
No, I'm saying even if the entire cast was just like morbidly obese women,
Oh, okay.
the point is what is what the show is about, not what everybody looks like. It's like all right, so we get the speeder bike chase scene, which was fairly well done, but
If
very
not derivative.
yeah,
Very
but,
derivative.
but very, very Star Wars.
yes.
And so I felt like I was watching The Mandalorian or something. I did not feel like I was watching Star Trek, especially when I kind of dig what they're going for as far as the season-long arc, to try and protect the information of the progenitors. And look, man, this speeder bike chase scene takes like a third of the episode.
This is the scene I was talking about, why I thought that
Yeah.
it was just a breakup. But
Yeah, so then at the end of the speeder bike chase scene, Book and Burnham have a little moment where they kind of gaze into each other's eyes like, ooh, maybe there's something still there.
did I read that wrong? Didn't her comment make it clear that they're done? Wasn't that what that was, or no?
I think I think that they're going to try to spark it. That's I think that Book clearly still has feelings for her. But I think that her attitude about him betraying Starfleet is gonna, or the Federation, is going to take more than just a good job and a chase to fix. Maybe if you're a super patriot and your girlfriend starts talking about how crappy America is, then just because they still have feelings for you, well, it's like, yeah, but you were dissing my country, And Burnham is a super patriot when it comes to Starfleet and the Federation. And so, meanwhile, the ship comes in for repairs. This is actually not a bad shot,
Again, with the whole like paying homage to the motion picture space dock. Why did they get rid of the mushroom design? That's such a cool design.
Well, remember, their space dock in the 32nd century looks nothing like either the mushroom or the
This one
You know,
here kind of resembles. I mean, it
except
pays-
this is like an extension sticking out of it.
Oh, is that okay?
Yeah. And let's see. Overlord DVD says hello. Really?
Well, maybe to you. I don't know the guy, and I
When would he? I didn't.
I have
think
his
he was-
channel blocked on my YouTube. To be honest with you, he's so negative.
I mean, why are you being just joking around? Because I haven't talked to Doomcock in a long time.
He's got to be joking.
Yeah. But the and the thing is, it's like, I don't know if you saw Doomcock posted on Twitter like, "Oh, this is the worst thing ever." And it's just like,
I've literally blocked that dude on everything because he's
no,
he's just-
I don't have him blocked, but I usually ignore him. I
haven't blocked. He's
and-
just so annoying and negative, and he pisses and shits on everything. It's not the kind of life I want to live. You know.
Anyway, I'm just amazed. Like, and this shot right here kind of exemplifies it. They finally found an angle at which Discovery looks kind of cool, and that's dead on from the front. I actually think the ship looks cool in this shot, but you see Discovery from any other angle, and I think it looks like crap. So
Yeah, you're gonna have to bring me up to speed on these two. I mean,
there's not much to tell. They hinted about like through the last season, and at the very end of the seasons, they kind of decided that they were going to start dating.
okay.
And Ben, if you're asking me if I still watch Doomcock, no, I haven't watched this channel in at least a couple of years. And Bird says you're toxic as F, Danny.
For what, Bird? What am I toxic for? Because I block Doomcock and his negative energy? I don't need that shit in my life. You know.
Anyway, I just don't pay attention to him, to be honest. I don't have him blocked, like I said. If you want to reach out to me, I'd be more than happy to talk to him. But he'd have to be willing to have a discussion and disagree.
I wouldn't piss on that dude if he were on fire.
Wow.
No, man. Like, good riddance. You know, no. Yeah.
I see. I wouldn't say that about anybody.
You're a good Christian.
Yes, I try to be, but you know,
I'm a recovering Christian. I'm still working on it.
You need to work on it. So, and then she goes and talks to Cronenberg here, who spills the beans that what we're talking about are the progenitors.
All right. So look, you know what? I just realized that was terrible. You're right, guys. So give me a second to practice the 11th step here. God, I offer myself to thee to build with me and to do with me as thou wilt. Relieve me of the bondage of self that I may better do thy will. Take away my difficulties, that victory over them may bear witness to those I would help of thy power, thy love, and thy way of life. Amen. Sorry.
And now you need to apologize for saying about Doomcock.
I'm sorry I said I wouldn't pee on him if he were on fire.
So you would pee on Doomcock.
You know, maybe throw some water on him. I wouldn't let the guy die. Okay, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that. Anyway. Hey, Picard. There we go.
Yeah. Yeah, Picard before he turned into old man. You know. So yeah, I like the you know, with the big reveal here. You know, they don't dwell on Jean-Luc. Like, it's not like he goes, "Oh, Jean-Luc Picard, a wonderful, beautiful man who we all admire to this day." No, he just says, yeah, Jean-Luc Picard is the guy that did it.
Which is just not a, it's cool, but yeah, it's just stating historical fact, basically.
Yeah, and this is 800 years after Picard, so that, that's fine. So then we get to the next.
And Ben One Eye, I would go with that more than I would with Salty's. And I'm taking that bet. I don't think Captain Rayner, or now First Officer Rayner, is going to end up being in cahoots with the villains. But
By the way, that
Cronenberg,
is still-
Kovich is a little sus, man. He's a little sus.
Yeah. And by the way, that is something that will continue to be a pet peeve for me with this show, is that they don't understand naval rank.
Yeah.
Because, I want you to be my number one. You know,
Wouldn't that be what's it called? They got it right in Battlestar.
it's first officer or executive officer.
The XO. XO.
Which, by the way, the only time in Trek that I remember them calling the executive officer is Star Trek The Motion Picture.
Yeah.
When Scotty actually said to Decker, "Just a minute, exec."
So Thomas agrees with you. He thinks Rayner's going to be evil. Okay. I'm leaning more toward Kovich, but that's fine.
So this is his court martial, or hearing, I should say, and it's pretty serious considering the president of the Federation is there.
I like how Burnham's like, I don't want to throw this dude under the bus, and he just looks at her and gives her permission to, which I thought was cool. I did think that was cool.
Well, but and that's again one of the few moments where I'm like, oh, hey. That's, because I will tell you, as someone who served, you would be very reluctant to rat on a fellow officer,
Especially a fellow captain,
right? And so it would be embarrassing for you to say, I disagreed with him, even at a board of inquiry like this. So I appreciate that they kind of they're humanizing Burnham a little bit, which is amazing. Because, if we were talking about season 2 Burnham, she would have been, absolutely, I disagreed with him because I am better than him, or some BS like that. But they've actually made Burnham a little bit more human a character, which is why I can tolerate her now. I still don't love her character, but at least I can tolerate her.
She didn't offend me in these 2 episodes. I'll say that.
And I can use the term tolerance correctly. Tolerance doesn't mean I agree with everything. It means that, I still find her annoying, but I can put up with it. So, I mean, Saru is going to be the first gentleman now. Well, first gentleman of the planet Navarre, yeah. But no, I don't think, isn't, I thought his fiance was just an ambassador.
I don't know
but I don't
anything
remember.
about her. Yeah, so there's that.
Anyway, so, and by the way, can I just say, I love Vance's uniform. That is a sharp looking uniform, I think. The gray with the red trim. And actually, starting with last season, I like these 32nd century uniforms. They're far better than the crap they were wearing in the first couple seasons of Discovery and the pajamas they were wearing in TNG. The later TNG uniforms, like when they went to the gray and all that, I thought that was good. She is president? Okay. But these actually look like military uniforms to me. Call me crazy. So then she gets a little holographic mouse, I guess, for Book's cat, which, okay. That makes sense. She would do that.
Okay, so we're in the second episode.
Oh yeah. We're well into the second episode. I'm trying to get. Come on, where is that shot? There. So that's what Starfleet headquarters looks like now.
Trippy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So. So in this episode, they're trying to, they analyze the data from not data, and figure that they need to go and get a clue on this planet as to where to go next. or see if the super secret technology is down here. As it turns out, there's a very powerful defense system around this, which, again, not the most original thing in Trek history. We've seen it in, like, what's the name of that first season episode of TNG where with the arms manufacturer?
Encounter at Farpoint?
No, the arms manufacturer.
You said the first episode.
First season, I said, of TNG.
Oh, sorry.
When they end up on the planet and there's like the probe that keeps getting more powerful with each iteration, and it's a defense system that they're selling. You don't remember that episode?
I'm trying to think, man. Look, I killed a lot of brain cells as an.
Yeah, it's right on the tip of my tongue. I remember that episode, but and Arsenal of Freedom. Thank you, Thomas. Yes, and Zachary. So Arsenal of Freedom. This sequence basically makes me think of a big budget version of Arsenal of Freedom.
Hey, Ranger Power. Okay. Indiana Burnham. All right.
And I think that's a fair way of saying it. It feels like it's a mashup of Star Wars and Indiana Jones with some Star Trek references. Because they're on an Indiana Jones type quest, but keep in mind, this is a very similar quest to what Picard was on when we first see the progenitors in The Chase. So it's just that this is going to be a season-long arc as opposed to one episode, which actually I think is a lot more realistic to have this take some time. But yeah, the Burnham and Saru are on the planet, and they start getting attacked by the defenses. But they also find out that there's the super secret part of the code that the other people didn't get. And so while the other people are probably heading to Betazoid, the real answer is going to be on Trill. Dun, dun, dun. Stay tuned for next week.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
And this is where the Admiral was saying he's been my friend for 30 years, and he's,
Right. And she offers him the job of first officer, but calls it be my number one, because they act like the rank of being the executive officer is number one. That's, no, it's commander generally. So they should reduce his rank to commander. But I hate that it's like, for some reason, they got this idea that every first officer just needs to be called number one, when honestly it was just Majel Barrett's character from the original pilot and Riker. That's it from the first two generations of Trek. Those are the only first officers that were called number one. But, whatever.
Yeah.
All right, so, I'll say this. The two episodes, this is probably the strongest season start that Discovery has had. I'm interested in the story. My only real complaint is that a lot of elements feel very Star Wars-y.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, hey, I was actually going to jokingly say this has been, honestly, the best start of any season. I was going to say this is the best start of any season in the franchise since Mandalorian season 2. That's basically where I was, so.
And Zachary, I don't think you can. I don't think.
Yeah, Spock was never called
number one. Yeah,
right. Spock wasn't called number one. Major Kira wasn't called number one. T'Pol wasn't called number one.
Yeah, Alex, that's a nice change. I almost wish Jason was around, because I'd love to see if he would still hate on it, or if he'd be like, okay, like us,
But you see, the problem is, honestly, and I'm not trying to diss Jason here, but I'd be willing to bet he wouldn't even be willing to watch it.
Yeah, fair enough.
And I understand this show has burned a lot of bridges.
Yeah.
And so even though this has been a good start for them, in no way is going to make me say, "Gosh, I wish there was a season 6 coming."
Hey,
You know,
back when I reviewed Picard season 1 and 2 with the Salty Nerds, like they fooled us with episodes 1 and 2 of those first 2 seasons, and we
and
had
then they
hope.
really crapped
and,
on it.
and
in
then they
season
just
3.
well, no, shut up, no. And then both of those seasons took a nosedive once they got to episode 3.
Right.
Both seasons. It was crazy.
But yeah, so this season could take a massive dump, or it could actually maintain, or even get better. Because like season 4, I think started weaker and got better. Where most seasons of some of the bad stuff we've seen start off strong and then go down.
Chief Cook, he's not stupid. It was that, or he had to face a mandatory retirement. So I don't think it was stupid at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, okay, so basically your choices are dishonorable discharge or demotion.
Yeah.
I'll take the demotion,
Yeah, right.
Especially since it's clear that he wants to be out there.
Yeah. Which is why I don't think he's a bad guy like you do. But I'll win that $50 bet. That's fine.
And we'll see. And Don says, I love season 2. Look, I liked Pike in season 2, and I liked Spock in season 2, but I didn't like season 2. So we'll see. And you're wrong, Stanley. The first episode
that had the speeder chase.
Well, the first episode had both the long warp surfing and the long speeder chase.
Yeah.
The second episode was Arsenal of Freedom.
Yeah. Well, not really, but.
Well, the not Arsenal of Freedom.
Yeah. It was actually called Under the Twin Moons, which is another kind of a Star Wars reference,
right. The twin sons of Tatooine.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm actually cautiously interested in what happens this season.
Yes, I would agree with that assessment so far.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens next week, and I won't even have to break your arm. I assume it's good.
Okay.
I assume it's going to come out on Thursday. That's when it has been.
I got lucky. My buddy, I want to give a shout out, not that he's watching, to my buddy Steve-O, who hooked me up with a profile on his Paramount Plus so I could watch this.
So you're going to publicly tell everybody that Steve-O is breaking the terms of Paramount Plus, so you're going to get him in trouble.
No, I thought Paramount Plus allowed you to share.
I don't know. Did you read their terms and conditions?
No. Does anybody? No. I mean, come on.
The only service that I know allows you to share is Disney Plus.
Well, they're changing that actually. Disney.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Because everybody that accesses mine lives in this house, but Paramount Plus, I don't know. I've never heard of them.
Well, anyway, Steve-O's a generic name. He's not even watching. I just wanted to publicly thank the guy because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to watch it. So.
Yeah, but right now some executive at Paramount is scanning every account with someone named Steve.
Yeah, right. There's only 26 people watching us right now. I doubt one of them is a Paramount exec.
You never know.
Or well, actually, there's 30 people watching us. My bad.
But it is possible. All right, so
we were past all this. I remember.
Yes, I know. Ensign Lynch.
Here,
the most Picard moment of the movie when Picard decides to just blast away at people and not even blink about it.
Yeah. So anyway, which we already talked about last week.
Yeah.
And for those of you who are unawares, today is First Contact Day. Yes,
which
and
is
so
we decided. Finish First Contact.
We're going to finish our review of First Contact because Salty hates this movie so much. He spent over 2 hours shitting on just the first half of it. So
I deny nothing.
Well, I can't give you 2 hours to shit on the last half. So you get about an hour out of me today.
Now this is a moment I did enjoy when Tilly first sees Worf. He's like, "I'm a Klingon." I thought
I am a Klingon.
Yeah. And so, and Don says Doomy despises First Contact as well, but I don't blame him.
Oh, you guys got something to bond over then. Right on.
Really? Doomcock doesn't like First Contact? I'm surprised.
I mean, he doesn't like anything. That doesn't surprise me at all. Name me one thing that guy likes. One thing.
Frank Sinatra.
Okay. Okay, never mind. Who does
Star Trek, the original series.
He likes that?
He does.
Oh, well, good. Good for him. Good.
Galaxy Quest, that's true. Yeah, he loves Galaxy Quest.
Oh, yeah, Galaxy Quest is great. Okay, good deal.
Deep Space Nine.
Chief, we said that a million times last week. I actually like Michael's pitch for the Cisco inclusion, but
and you can see Crusher is just sitting there going, "If only this had a pump." look at the look on her face and the way she's holding that gun. I mean, there seems to be something like she's having thoughts of something really bad here.
maybe she's thinking of the candle.
Yeah, maybe. Meanwhile, the guy behind her has got the Worf dildo special.
Oh, Hawk.
Yeah. So yeah, that's just those guns. That is, those guns. So yeah, so they see Cochrane is off in the distance, and I think doesn't he say something like he's like 400 meters away?
Yeah,
and,
we talked about this last week. It was ridiculous.
It's like, come on. And they actually catch up with him.
He's like a mile away or something.
Yeah.
It was.
All right, so yeah, then we get the Queen put some skin on Data.
Chief, if you want to know the answer to that question, go watch our video from last week, buddy.
Yeah, you want me to repeat everything that we said last week?
No. Go watch last week's video.
The short version is replace Tilly with Cisco. Yeah. And have Cisco on the Defiant with Worf, obviously. And
Nova Nix, what's up, buddy?
Here's your favorite part right there.
Nah, can't say. No.
Yeah. And people say they don't bone.
No, they.
Yeah. Because right there when she kisses him, she's interrupting him, explaining that he is fully functional.
Far too long.
Yeah. But remember, he gives the same line he gave to Tasha, that he's programmed in multiple techniques and all that.
And how long has it been since you've used them?
Yeah. And he's like 6 years, 11 months, 13 days, 9 hours, and blah, blah. Yeah.
Far too long.
So then we get the action sequence of the deflector dish. But now, I still think that, okay, so the sequence starts out with Picard saying, you can't shoot the dish because it's charged with antiprotons, and if you hit it with a phaser, then it'll destroy half the ship.
But he didn't hit the part in the middle. We talked about this in our watch along, which you can view at Support Salty. SupportSalty.com.
See right here, yeah, Picard straight up shoots the dish.
No, he shot outside the dish.
Dude, the entire area is the dish.
I think he was specifically referring to that part in the middle, which, with the darker orange line on it. Yeah.
So look at that explosion. The explosion is right on the border between the yellow part and the orange part. He hit the freaking dish. If this whole area is charged with antiprotons, everything should be gone right here.
I'm not going to let you ruin this movie for me with your common sense.
Yeah, with your common sense. Well, at least you admit that that's what it is. So they're trying to do the manual input in order to release the center part of the deflector dish, which, and then poor Hawk. We never saw that coming.
Might as well have put him in a red shirt.
Yeah. But I do have a problem here. And we talked about it when we first watched it, which is that, okay, so they fire a couple of shots at the Borg, and the Borg adapt with their force fields. So
Right.
their phasers are useless. But then Hawk shows up,
Assimilate this.
and they shoot him, and it kills him.
Yeah.
But they just adapted. Now, don't try to give me some crap like, well, he didn't have his shields installed. Everybody that we see here is a former crew member. Hawk just happens to still have a spacesuit on.
Well, maybe that's what it was. Maybe it didn't kill him. It's just the impact on the suit. Because he just flips backwards and drifts off into space,
I don't buy it. And then we get the assimilate
this.
which is like... meanwhile, our social conservative, straight-laced man of the future is talking about, getting laid and all that. And the only reason he made the ship was so he could try to get laid. So right here, this is one part we talked about, like this, with our remake could have been O'Brien. It could have been, or it could have been Dax. There's, it makes no sense that Worf was the only DS9 person on the ship.
No, I agree. I like your idea. It was, that would have been good stuff. Yeah.
And
You want to destroy the ship and run away, you coward.
right, which is also something Picard would never say.
If you were any other man, I would kill you where you stand.
Yeah,
Get off my bridge.
dude.
I love that
Not
scene.
the whole scene, please.
I love that scene. Yeah.
But you love the scene, but they're completely out of character.
Picard is completely out of character, but you know what? Thanks to you, I know why. Because this is a Nexus fever dream.
Well,
so
that's
it don't
true.
matter.
Yeah, that's true. It says a Nexus fever dream. I need to do a video on that.
Yeah, you do.
And so then Lily is like, why the heck are you guys just doing what he says? And she says, because when Picard makes up his mind, that's the way it is. Now, how is that Beverly Crusher? You tell me. Look, I admit I am not as big a fan of TNG as I am of TOS, right? I fully admit my bias.
Yeah.
But how is it in character for Dr. Crusher, of everybody in the TNG crew, to just go, well, I guess Jean-Luc's made up his mind, so we're going to just go along with what he says? Because how many times has she gotten in Picard's face because she's the only one that can?
Right? She could have pulled the whole, you've been compromised emotionally. She can technically, she has the ability to relieve him of duty.
Right. Not only can she do it because she's the medical officer, but she also knows Jean-Luc intimately well. She's the only one that calls him Jean-Luc on a regular basis.
Yeah.
She has straight up defied his orders. And no, Stanley, not just in private. Think about episodes like Who Watches the Watchers, as horrible of an episode as that is. She is defiant in front of the rest of the crew.
Can we get to the next awesome scene, which is just like a couple seconds away? Come on, couple clicks of the mouse. Let's just get to it. Come on.
You sound like a crack addict, dude.
I love that. Two cool little moments back to back.
Yeah, but okay, so this is the big scene where it should have been Cisco.
Yes. I agree with you on that. And guys, if you want more, don't give it away for free. If you want more on that, go to supportsalty.com and watch our watch along. He describes it in detail, and I love it. I love it.
If this were
Or make a video, or make a separate video about it.
But if this were Cisco and Picard, oh my gosh, this would have been the scene to, a great follow up to the Ready Room scene from the first episode of Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, totally.
And unfortunately, no, we get this where she's like, "Oh yeah, you got to go get your whale, right?" And Picard just goes Batwoman crazy and decides to break everything because, here's your favorite part right there.
Well, not this time. The line must be drawn here, this far, no farther. And I will make them pay for what they have done.
Which is totally not in Picard's character. But again, Nexus
Right,
fever
but
dream.
that's the problem. Look,
Nexus fever dream.
Again, I'm not saying that Patrick Stewart didn't bring his A game. You know that. It's a beautifully shot, wonderfully acted, great scene for any characters other than Jean-Luc Picard and Tilly, or Lily. It made no sense for this to be Jean-Luc Picard because he is Mr. Rationality. He is Mr. Calm and Collected. So...
Ben, there's no way. You don't get over the death of your baby mama and the death of your wife,
Are you talking about Cisco?
Yeah, I put the comment up on the screen for you.
Oh, yeah. That's the thing. Cisco holding a grudge, because remember, that was never resolved.
Yeah.
Unlike Picard and the Borg.
And that's what would have been so good about your ideas. There
Right.
would have been resolution by the end of this movie between the two of them.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, but Cisco never had any good resolution with Picard, which is too bad. They should have had Picard show up later on Deep Space Nine and had them work through it.
Put him in this movie like you were saying.
Yeah. Or have him in this movie. That would have been an even better way to do it. But And so it's like, oh, yeah, you broke your little ship.
Broke your little
dumbass.
ships.
And so then Picard, tells everybody, okay, we're going to abandon ship. Which, by the way, I got to say, I love that chair. I want one of those chairs.
A cannon, he'd have shot his heart upon him. Excuse me? Moby Dick. Actually, I never read it.
Yeah, you don't have to tell us all the dialogue.
Sorry. If you want to see me do sing along with the dialogue, go to supportsalty.com. And he
Anyway,
gets very frustrated with me.
Yeah, I do love this captain's chair. That looks like such a comfortable chair.
This is like the third time you've said that about a different captain's chair, by the way.
That's because some of these captain's chairs look great. I like the captain's chair on Enterprise as well. I think that's a nice, comfy looking chair.
Well, that was a Porsche chair. Really
The Enterprise captain's chair?
Yeah, it's from a Porsche.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
And so then he's like, actually, Worf, I'd be your gay lover. And Worf was like, we already are, Captain.
No, I love I regret some of what I... Some?
And, and Worf said, we have two.
Oh, yes, Aravik. Maybe you missed it, but we did that at the top of the show. But yes, happy First Contact Day.
Yes, thank you. And of course, now we are into First Contact Day in First Contact.
Yes, we are.
Because they are launching. And so there we get, admittedly, a good little gag where
with the magic carpet ride.
Yeah, where he's like, oh no, we can't launch, and Riker and Geordi think he's serious.
Do we need to abort?
Yeah, and he's like, oh, phew, found it, and puts the disc in and plays Magic Carpet Ride. Because there are people like that just I can't drive without my tunes,
Yeah, I'm kind of like that.
Yeah. I'll tell you, when I'm driving Uber, I have a playlist that is about 8 hours long, and I will listen to that entire playlist as I'm driving, and that's how I know how I'm doing. Just kind of what song I'm on. Because I don't shuffle it; I play it in order.
Right on.
And this is where we get one of those stupid lines where.
Oh, The Lake Armstrong line.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
one?
It's like, oh yeah, you can see Tycho City and Lake Armstrong on a day like this, and it's like we've seen the moon in TNG. It doesn't look any different.
Yeah.
I really hate when they try to throw stuff out there just to show how we're from the future, and you're contradicting established lore. From what we've seen, there may be cities on the moon, but they're not clearly visible from Earth. You okay?
Yeah. What?
Well, you're tapping around and doing stuff, so I mean,
No, I had a post-it of something to do, and I just saw it, and I did it. So just yeah. So.
you know what you got to do? You got to eat the Post-it.
No, actually, I'm gonna go use the little boys' room and throw this away. I'll be right back. You continue.
Emphasis on little.
Little. Just kidding.
So then they take off, and then here we get Picard and Lily talking about standard BS. He basically explains to her that he's got a friend that's still stuck, and he's got to try to rescue him because the entire crew has basically put themselves at risk to save him, which is fine, except that we've seen Picard straight up murder 2 members of his own crew. All right. So he kills Ensign Lynch, and he kills Ensign Unlucky, the guy that was being assimilated and he shot with the phaser. He just straight up murders these guys. And and what is established lore, Ben, is what we see on screen. If it's on screen, it's established. And we see the moon. So, no, the moon doesn't look any different. But anyway, so he straight up murders 2 members of his crew. But because it's Data, who he was never really all that close with, he found Data interesting and everything. But really, Data's best friend is Geordi.
Yeah.
Not Picard. If anybody, and I get it why it's Data for the sake of the story, but the problem is that if you're going to make it that Picard would have a vested interest in saving someone, it would be like Dr. Crusher, maybe Riker, but not Data. Data, I could see him being willing to sacrifice.
Well, I think that's something they do over the course of these movies, though, is they try to, even all the way through to Nemesis, in all these movies, they try to make it Picard and Data more or closer, and then they even double down on that with the Picard series. But I mean, I agree with you, though. Up to this point, it doesn't track really.
And at this point, there's no reason that he would be like, oh, we've got to, that petition is going nowhere. Urge Paramount Global to replace Alex Kurtzman and Secret Hideout as Star Trek partners. You know what? I can't sign that because honestly,
there's literally only 32 signatures on it.
Well, it's not even the number of signatures. The reason I can't sign it is because I like a couple of the Alex Kurtzman shows. I like Strange New Worlds. I like Lower Decks. Picard, nah. But Discovery is really the only one I despise. And even now, Discovery Season 5 is the last season of it. So,
welcome, Captain. Would you like to answer this question, Salty?
So where are we in the movie? Just got here. They are currently abandoning the Enterprise.
Yeah, we got about 20 minutes of the movie left.
I'm trying to go relatively quickly because Danny is being a little.
I can give you 30 more minutes. We're good.
Anyway, so Picard goes into the engine room, which I love the fact that, okay, let's change the color of the warp core to make it more ominous. I mean, since when does the warp core change colors just because the bad guys are in the room?
I know, right?
That makes no sense. And also, and I know it comes in very handy in a little bit, but okay, if the plasma coolants are right there, and Data can literally just punch a hole in that, why didn't he do that earlier?
This is you already asked me that question during our watch along, and I already answered it. So that's more of a question for the audience. If you want to know my answer, go to supportsalty.com.
So then Picard sees the Queen, and so he thinks that she wants him, and so offers to trade him.
Oh! Sheer fucking hubris. Sorry, had to.
What?
Picard, he's so arrogant. He's so vain.
Yeah.
He thinks the song is about him. Sheer effing hubris. Never mind. Sorry.
So then, but then the big twist is Data has decided to join the Borg willingly.
Okay, so did he really change outfits? Because I don't think he did. You.
Yes, that is a different uniform than he had on before.
You want to explain that to the fine folks? Your PG sex thing, what they do in the. Remember what you were telling me,
Let's go back. Okay, so if we go back to
when she kissed him, that would be the perfect one to look at. The whole far too long part.
Man, it's hard to assimilate
right there. Okay.
No, that's the same. Where was it that he changed?
No, he didn't change. Yeah, he didn't change.
But we saw that he did change. Maybe there was a goof up.
No, he didn't change.
Oh, shut up.
You see, it's in your head. It's something, some kind of.
Now, I still would say he
Mandela effect. I mean, I first of all, it would have been like a sex doll because she's a robot from the above the bosom down. Like the.
Well, if anything, Data is the sex doll.
I guess. Well, then maybe it does work
because she's more organic than Data. That's weird because we were looking at it. I don't know. That's bizarre. Anyway, so, but Data has decided to join up with the Borg. And so he decrypts the computer for the Queen and is getting ready to shoot down the Phoenix.
He will make an excellent drone.
Now he's standing right there next to her. Why doesn't he punch the plasma coolant right there?
Yeah.
What's with all the waiting around and dramatic tension for no... Like, he actually risks firing quantum torpedoes at the Phoenix just for the ruse that was unnecessary.
And where do those things end up anyway?
I'm pretty sure that they just destroyed the planet Vulcan.
Yeah, right.
Forget about Nero. in this universe, they took care of that themselves. So yeah, he fires the torpedoes, just barely missing the Phoenix.
Resistance is futile.
Yeah, which I hate that line.
Yeah, why didn't he say futile? But whatever.
Yeah. And then we get the straight up John McClane scene that Patrick.
No, the John McClane scene was earlier when he was actually crawling around in the tubes, but I still see it here. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look at that. He's wearing a tank top. He's swinging across the room. Yeah. Yeah, right here is where he's making the big action swing.
Yeah.
Like, we're supposed to be... Look, I'm sorry. Patrick, we're not getting impressed by your guns. I mean, I guess they're okay for your age, but you're actually not as old as you look. So, I can't even say that.
And the character is even older than the actor, right? You pointed that out to me.
I mean, yippee-ki-yay, mother. Yeah. And so then, of course, he breaks the Queen's spine Because, and I'm surprised he doesn't say something like, "I guess now you're spineless," or so.
I hope you leave enough room for my fist, because I'm going to ram it into your stomach and break your spine.
I left the GD out for you, Mom.
And then Data admits that he considered it for like 0.6 of a second. And yeah. Meanwhile, the Vulcans show up, and Cochrane's like, "Get him!" And they grabs a shotgun and shoots the Vulcans.
You're
and
confusing that with an episode of.
Oh yeah, far better episode.
As in a Mirror Darkly, Part 1, I believe, is what that was.
Yeah. And yes, Captain Chiller, nobody ever accused the TNG movies of being too smart, except for Danny. Danny seems to think they're brilliant.
That's not true. Whoa. No, I hate Generations. This is the only one I like, because the best praise I can even give Insurrection is that it would be a decent, okay, good, not great 2-part episode of the series. And Nemesis is what killed the franchise. So, I mean, no, I don't. This is easily, by default, the best next-gen movie.
And I don't think it's even a next-gen movie. This is a movie that happens to have all the cast members of the next-gen happening to play characters with the same names, but it's not TNG. The only next-gen movie was Generations. And I hate saying that because I don't particularly like Generations.
I hate that movie.
But it's the only movie where they're in character.
In fact, I don't remember. I was pretty brutal to it on Critic List. Let me go look at that. What did I give that movie on Critic List? Generations. I gave it a 30. Gave it a bogus. That's sad. In Star Trek V, I gave a 55.
And Chief Cook, Enterprise did not kill the franchise. The franchise was already dead.
Yeah.
Honestly, Voyager killed the franchise as far as shows. Enterprise
was finally getting good, man.
The problem with Enterprise is it wasn't good enough to recover from Voyager. That's the problem. It's not that Enterprise killed the franchise. Enterprise wasn't enough to save it.
Yeah.
And with the movies were already, like I said, the TNG movies, except for Generations, which everybody hated Generations, but except for Generations, in none of these movies are they playing the characters that they played in the show, which is probably why the movies got insanely diminishing box office returns.
It gives more credence to your whole theory that everything after Generations is
a Nexus dream.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make any sense.
You should make a damn video about that. I'm telling
you. I'm going to make a damn video about it. Just
okay. You can even. Never mind. You don't need my help. You're good.
10-year-old you was impressed. Yeah, a 10-year-old would be impressed. Sure. And Stanley. Not only is it weird. Generations. Keep in mind, all these movies except for Nemesis were made by the same people that made the show, so they have no excuse.
They brought in the writer of Gladiator to write Nemesis, and they brought in a director who wasn't a fan of Star Trek. It was just
but that's Nemesis. I'm talking about the other 3 movies. There's no, because Ronald D. Moore and Berman were involved in these movies, and they butcher the lore, they butcher the characters, they added the Borg Queen for no effing reason, and I don't care what people say, well, the studio told them to do it. Well, then you say, F you, studio, that's going to ruin the Borg.
Well, you know what? That worked really well for Sam Raimi when he didn't want to put Venom in Spider-Man 3, didn't it? Oh,
well, you know what? Sam Raimi, but
you can't tell the studio no.
Yes, you absolutely can. And sometimes it means you lose the job. And if you and the bad, I'd rather see Ronald D. Moore get canned and not make this movie than to make the movie with the Borg Queen.
Fair enough.
All right.
But I'd say he more than made up for it with Battlestar Galactica, right?
Well, Battlestar Galactica was great, but that's a different franchise.
Yeah.
But my problem is that people want to blame the studio for everything. Look,
What Trek documentary series is he talking about?
we actually have the DVDs for a Trek documentary. The Center Seat is the name of it.
Oh, I have not seen that one.
Yeah, so we're gonna watch it after we get through these movies, I think.
Cool. All right.
And BNAA UK, thank you for subscribing. But yeah, so you have the people that should know these characters better than anybody completely botch these characters, and they completely kill the Borg with this. So and Chief, I don't give a crap about your hate boner for Enterprise. I really don't.
Actually, it's
you're
funny.
the one that won't change your freaking avatar, even though how many times have I asked you not to put that avatar on my channel? So, why should I respect you?
What avatar? It's a
He's
ship,
got that
isn't it?
abomination starship there.
What? I can't tell what it is. It's so small. What is it?
Yeah, don't worry about it. It's not worth talking about. It's crap.
Okay. Thomas, maybe you weren't here. Look, I admitted that my crush on Dr. Crusher was alcohol fueled insanity, and I have since come to my senses.
He's no longer drooling over 70-year-old women.
Yeah.
Usually.
It's side effect of intoxication.
Yeah. For him, he's strictly into octogenarians now. All right, so
we're gonna go the part where he's trying to teach the Vulcan how to dance. That was kind of
well, yeah. That's so. Well, doesn't he shoot the Vulcan and then they storm the ship?
No, that's Enterprise. So that reminds me. So
yeah,
Chief
right
Cook,
here is the Vulcan is like, what is that horrible noise? And Cochrane's like, no, you don't understand. We dance.
Yeah.
And then the Vulcans immediately kill everybody.
So I had the dumb idea. I was introducing a friend. This was a while ago, probably 10 years ago, to Star Trek. And I had the bright idea of like, why don't we watch them in not release order, but like chronological order? So I showed him Enterprise first. We watched Enterprise together.
Right.
Then we watched the original series and so on. And I'll be damned if he didn't when we were all done, he's like, man, I got to say Enterprise was my favorite. And I was like, wow, I've never heard anyone say that. But maybe it's because that's how I introduced him to Star Trek.
Yeah, it's usually most people they'll argue that their favorite show is whichever the first one they saw is. Mm-hmm. Which is why older people like me tend to stick with the original series.
Yeah.
People in your age group are generally either TNG or Deep Space Nine.
Well, I'm kind of an exception thanks to my mother.
Yeah, I know, you're Voyager, which is weird. Because
No, TOS, because my mother, because she raised me.
Well, yeah,
that.
but I thought you were into Voyager too. I thought.
No, that's Brian from the Popcast. He's a big.
Oh,
yeah.
Brian's the idiot.
I had a special place in my heart with Voyager just because my oldest son and I watched them in real time together. Didn't make them good episodes. Most of them were shit, in fact. But
yeah, Voyager is crap. Yeah, but
I wouldn't, not all of it, but
well, only about 80%.
But most of it, yeah. I mean,
come on. Voyager has what is still the reigning champ of the worst Star Trek episode of all time. And that's saying something after 5 seasons of Discovery. That they still haven't been able to make something worse than Threshold. And yeah, Stan, so I understand, like, some people where they look at TNG and they're like, well, I grew up with TNG and TOS is dated. But the thing is that, well, and that's why people have to give some slack and grace to younger fans who actually like Discovery. Because to them, they look at TNG and it looks just as dated as TOS looks to you.
Yes, Captain Joller, the Threshold is the Salamander episode. Yes.
Yeah, the Warp 10 Lizard episode, yes.
Yeah. Mike Richards, #remember the Salamander babies.
And Thomas seems to think Subspace Rhapsody was worse. I'm sorry, no, it was not. Because Subspace Rhapsody, while silly, at least, I mean, honestly, I was impressed with their singing. You know, I gotta admit, those guys were pretty.
I didn't appreciate the fact they had to make Pike gay, but whatever.
Wait, what?
He was gay in that episode. His
No,
character
what are you talking about?
he played a fairy in that episode. Oh no, wait, I'm thinking about a different one. The one, the one, no, the
What are you
fantasy.
Talking about
The fantasy.
Yeah, Spike was not gay.
No, they
in
made him gay. They made him gay in the fantasy episode, not Subspace Rhapsody.
They didn't make him gay.
Yeah, his character was clearly gay in that. Yeah.
Whatever. The hair makes it so that it's not even possible.
He
That
was
is some seriously heterosexual hair.
not. Yeah, but he didn't have the hair. Like, okay, let me pull a picture up of that. He didn't have his hair, his glorious hair. They
Yeah, I think Stanley's right. I think he just dressed gay. I don't think he was actually.
he even talked. He was talking effeminate. You know,
Did he kiss another dude anytime in the episode?
not on camera.
Okay. Did he hold a dude's hand in a romantic way? Did he stare into some dude's eyes lovingly? Did he do anything other than talk kind of effeminate and dress like a fantasy character?
You know, my
that
memory
made you think
is
he
not
was
that.
gay.
Look, you got to understand. Back then, even when I was not drinking, I was legally drunk. My blood alcohol content
Yes, I know.
was always above the legal limit. So, you know,
For those of you that don't know, Danny was drinking well over a fifth a day.
yeah.
So he was pretty drunk. So
And don't be like Danny, folks, because Danny got liver disease. So there's that.
and Tom's calling me a Strange New World shill. Hey, I like that show. I'm not gonna deny it. You know, just because I understand. Look, there are people, and this is a problem with people that call themselves critics because they're not critics. They're just people who like to rant on YouTube. I don't call myself a critic, even though I critique things. You don't hear me call myself a critic because a critic is a person who's supposed to be analyzing something, talking about what's good about it, what's bad about it, talk about, all the relative aspects of something, not just say, this sucks because Alex Kurtzman is bad. I'm so tired of that line. I really am. Because you know what? Do you know Alex Kurtzman? Because I don't. Never met the guy. I don't know if he's a complete dick or if he's the nicest guy that's ever walked the planet. I do not know. What I do know is that of the shows that he's the executive producer for, I could not stand one of them. I thought one of them was okay, and I thought two of them were pretty good. That's not the worst possible track record.
The Elysian Kingdom is the name of the episode I'm referring to.
Yes, okay.
All right, hold up. I got a picture here. Oh, it's so small. But yeah, he doesn't have the great hair. They part it in the middle and flatten it down. So
clearly that means he's gay.
No, it was the way he was talking, I think, but that's fine.
That's true. Kurtzman, Kurtzman and Kathleen Kennedy are living in a cabin together trying to survive because they've both been fired. But hey, Nerdrotic must be the expert on everything since he's been on Pierce Morgan a few times now.
You know, the Nerdrotic meetup, I think, is next week. I think I might go just to for shits and giggles. Yeah, I got to share this. Hold up.
And Don, okay.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Come on.
Yeah, that's a dumb looking. That's not a great look for him. But I don't think he's
a fruitcake.
Wow, dude.
I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. I shouldn't make jokes like that. Anyway.
But let me say this. Okay, so Robert Meyer Burnett, nice enough guy. I've talked to him a few times. He and I actually argued over the merits of Kathleen Kennedy. He was defending Kathleen Kennedy. I was attacking her.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So, which I do think is funny because, and I'm not accusing you of this, Don, but there are a lot of people that, Robert Meyer Burnett, he's awesome. Robert Meyer Burnett is a huge fan of Kathleen Kennedy.
Hey, let me reel us back in. Are we going to finish this review?
Yeah,
give
yeah.
our final thoughts
But
and our score.
look, why do you seem to think that Robert Meyer Burnett would be so great for Star Trek? He's edited a couple of behind-the-scenes documentaries for the DVDs of TNG. That's quite an achievement. I'm not denying that. But that's a far cry from producing an episode of a show. It's not the same. A documentary and a fictional episode of a franchise are two very, very different things. And just like, and I'm not saying he doesn't have some good ideas, but I've had some good ideas. My Cisco idea, I think, is quite frankly brilliant. But that doesn't mean they should.
Good idea.
That doesn't mean they should hand me the keys to the kingdom. Oh, they should hire me as a writer. You know. But and again, I like Robert. But, you know, I don't think that he is the end-all, be-all and would save Trek. I don't think it's up to a single person to save Trek. But anyway, so final thoughts and score for Star Trek First Shart.
Yeah, you go first. Way to bury the lead there.
I'm sorry. Did I say First Shart? I meant... sticky contact. Is that what it is? I don't know.
Oh my God.
No, look, obviously, I think that as a film, forgetting about the fact that it's a Star Trek film, as a film, standing on its own, it is probably the best of the TNG era films. That being said, it's not standing on its own. That's the problem. Is that it's part of a larger franchise. Just TNG at this point was 7 seasons of a show plus one prior film and and a little bit of added lore from Deep Space Nine at this point. And they crap all over it. They destroy the Borg, they destroy Picard. It's just It absolutely destroys the franchise. So my rating is it's a freaking fever dream. That's my rating.
No, you got to give it what are you going to give it on Criticlist, man? Come on.
I don't even know. I'm going to probably do a new subjective review so I can come up with an honest score because I just get angry. And if I get angry, I'll give it a score lower than it deserves. So I don't want to say, oh, it's a 2 out of 10 because I'm pissed and it's really should be a 4 or 5. But I don't know. My gut would tell me somewhere around a 4, maybe. I did, because I find it offensive to the brand, but well made. And Chief, the fact that Robert Meyer Burnett agrees with you that Rick Berman and Enterprise killed the franchise is proof positive that Robert Meyer Burnett is not the end-all, be-all expert on Trek. For one thing, he agreed with you. Go ahead, Danny.
I enjoyed this movie, but if I am ranking it fairly against the totality of within the realm of Star Trek, and I always kind of I've got a
it's a part of a franchise. That's the hard part.
So, right. So I got to rank it. I got to take into consideration how I've ranked the other movies when I rank this. So I'm probably going to land somewhere near a 7 or 7.5 when it's all said and done. Mostly because you did bring it down a couple notches before you ruined this movie for me. I would probably give it a solid 8, but I'm teetering between 7 and 7.5. I'll make up my mind when I actually write my critic list.
Go 6.
Nah, I won't go lower than a 7.
Yeah, 6.5 maybe.
You're funny. Well, between you average our. Let's say I go with 7.
Or let's say you go with 4.
No, that's what you went with.
Yeah.
And so our average is 5.5. So that's
assuming that I go with a 4. Yeah.
That is assuming you go with a 4. Yes. So we'll see.
So the bottom line, this movie was garbage. That's
according to him. I don't agree with that, but
it absolutely.